Welcome to Say More from Boston Globe Opinion. I'm Shirley Leung. Despite every prediction of endless traffic and grumpy Bostonians, Boston hosting the World Cup so far has been good. No, it's been great. The biggest surprise for many has been the Tartan Army. A truly shocking influx of Scottish fans in our streets, drinking all our beer. I'm in the studio with Globe sports writer Ben Volin. Welcome, Ben.
Hi, Shirley. How are you doing today?
Thanks for making the trip in.
Absolutely.
I don't usually see you in the office. You're on a sports field somewhere,
That's right.
So were you also surprised by the Scots? I mean, did you see them coming to Boston and just taking over our city?
So I did not, but the warning signs were out there. It's funny. I saw on Twitter a Scottish comedian, a clip from a few months ago when Scotland qualified, warning that 1 million Scots were about to flood the streets of America, drunk as all whatever, ready to cheer on their team for the first time. Scotland's in the World Cup in 28 years, I believe. So I did not see it coming. A lot of the stories and the buzz that you saw before the World Cup was like, well, we're not sure what the tourism's going to look like. Maybe the hotels are down a little bit. And bless the hearts of Scotland and the Tartan Army. I mean, the word is like 50,000 of them.
That's right.
Came over.
They stayed in Boston. They stayed in Providence. They rented school buses, right?
Yes. One of them on the first match was Scotland-Haiti, and on the ride down with Tara Sullivan, a bus full of Scots mooned us on the way
really?
down. Yeah. So that was a nice but you know what, they were great. And it wasn't just that they came, it's that they brought a real infectious attitude. They had fun, and they were blown away by us. They loved Boston. They loved the United States. They were worried about ICE agents and riots in the streets and things, gun violence, and they were just blown away by the hospitality in Boston and the type of city that we are here. So that was, I think, what was so positive and uplifting about this experience. And now it's like, and it's not just them. There's a guy on social media, Freddy07 on Twitter, a German fan who has had the most endearing trip, driving from, I think they started in D.C., drove through the South, learning Buc-ee's and Waffle House and SEC football stadiums. And now they're in, Ohio and driving through small towns in Ohio. And the hospitality that they're seeing from the Americans, and also just the pure joy and wonderment at how they're looking at our culture, I think has just been a real refreshing kind of wake-up call for all of us.
Yeah, and the Scots, the Germans, I love the Norwegians, right? They came to town, and they were doing, what is that Viking Row?
They did it at North Station. I saw they took over New York City Times Square. So, yeah, that's what's really been so fun about this tournament is seeing the happy to be there teams. And so they expanded the tournament. It used to be 32 teams. Now it's 48. So that allows Haiti and Iraq and,
Cape Verde
for, who's done tremendous, 2 ties.
Right.
No one would have expected that from a tiny nation like Cape Verde. Norway's in it for the first time in 28 years. Scotland, the same thing. So just see, it's funny. Yesterday was England-Ghana, and England had 80% of the fan base there. But Ghana was out cheering them and making more noise.
Oh, wow.
England is all business. This is their 17th World Cup. Like, they're big time. They're number 4 in the world. Like, England fans are all business, whereas the Scots, the Haitians, the Ghanaians, they are just so happy to be here.
So why are fans, why are they a big part of the soccer experience? Like, I don't watch soccer. This is probably the most soccer I've ever watched in my life. But I'm fascinated by the fans, whether it's the rowing from, the Norwegians or the chants from the Scottish fans, and even the pageantry of FIFA with the big flags that come out. So is that a thing with international soccer?
Yeah, it's the world's tournament. It truly is. And you see that, at the when Iraq was playing Norway and Morocco was playing Scotland, and fan bases from very disparate parts of the world and disparate cultures, literally walking arm in arm into the stadium, and everyone was getting into the Scots. Even their opponents were chanting "No Scotland, no party." Everyone. So it is, it is. FIFA kind of co-opts that phrase and uses it to explain away a lot of things, but it's true. The World Cup does kind of bring the world together, and soccer is the world's sport. It's all you need is a ball, and you can play it in the streets, and so everyone plays it everywhere, and it's a pride thing. And especially in these group stages now, you're seeing a lot of David and Goliath matchups. Again, you're not seeing Spain going crazy and English fans going crazy yet. They go crazy in the quarters and semis and finals where they're supposed to go. It's chance for Congolese and Cape Verdeans and Iraqis, Scots to compete on the world stage. Show their pride. And show what their country's made of, I guess. So that is to me what has really been such an interesting part of observing all this.
So how many World Cup games have you covered now in Foxborough?
All 4 of the Foxborough matches. And to be clear, I'm not a big soccer guy either. Like, I'm really more American football. I just kind of tune in to the World Cup, and I'm approaching it as like the American, wide-eyed view of the World Cup. And so it's been very fascinating to observe. But I've been to all 4 matches so far.
And what's your impression?
I mean, it's been tremendous. Like I said, so far in the group stage, I call them the happy to be here teams, but they're tremendous. Haiti and Scotland and Iraq had a surprisingly sizable fan base for when they played Norway. And we've been treated to some decent soccer. The soccer really has been good. Even the 0-0 draw, England-Ghana, there was a surprising amount of action for a 0-0 match. We saw Norway's Erling Haaland, a guy who, again, 2 months ago I'd probably never heard of him, but now he's one of the greatest strikers in the world. We've been calling him Soccer Gronk. He's like Rob Gronkowski.
He's a big guy, right?
Huge. He's 6'5".
And he's got a little ponytail.
He's got the ponytail, and he's just unstoppable. He's a physical specimen. So we saw him once. He scored twice in that match. And then this Friday, we have a potential real treat on our hands with Norway versus France. Now, both have already advanced through to the knockout round, so hopefully they both play at full tilt. I'm not entirely sure. They might hold back, but it's Mbappe versus Haaland, 2 of the best in the world. Norway is a team on the come. France is a team that is arguably the favorite to win it, so that could be a real treat. And then we have 2 knockout matches, one featuring Germany, and then a quarterfinal match, which will be absolutely terrific. That'll be 2 elite teams when we get to the quarterfinals.
I think part of the joy that we're feeling in the city, do you think it's because Boston sports fans really needed this? I mean, the Celtics and Bruins, were knocked out pretty early in the playoffs, right? And don't even get me started about the Red Sox and their season. I mean, do you think that's what we're feeling too? We want to, the sports fans here, we want to root for someone.
It has not been I must remind you, Shirley, the local team did go to the Super Bowl not just 6 months ago. So it hasn't been that much of a barren sports wasteland here in Boston. I know a lot of cities that would kill for their team to even just make the Super Bowl.
We're spoiled here.
We are very, very spoiled. Honestly, I just think it's a curiosity, and it's a very digestible sport. You do not have to be a soccer expert to be able to watch it and get what's going on. And it's a nice and tidy 2 hours. I love that aspect. The match starts at 6, and man, it's over by 8, and it doesn't get drawn out, and it's just a positive thing, and it brings out, everyone's got a rooting interest, everyone's got a nationality one way or another. Team USA is off to a great start, so that helps. The positivity brought by the Euros and all the visitors, I think helps. You realize, like, wow, this thing is pretty fun. It's been a nice injection of energy and certainly money into our city. So I just think it's a slow time of year. It's the tournament itself is once every 4 years. In America, it's once every 30 years. So I just think the curiosity aspect of it lends a lot into people. It's a very easy tournament to kind of casually follow without getting too deep into it.
Yeah, no, I'm watching again. I'm so much soccer, and I barely know the rules. So more of my conversation with Ben Volin after this short break. So, Ben, you normally cover the NFL. So, what has it been like pivoting to soccer?
Yeah, anything named football, I'm down to cover it. It's been fun ever since this tournament in Boston got announced. I raised my hand. I like events. I like big events, and this is a bucket list type of thing. Like, when am I ever going to get to cover the World Cup? So I raised my hand to do it. You can't help but notice the differences in the sports. The NFL, American sports in general, have so much more of a robust media policy. There's so much more expected out of the teams and the participants. Here with FIFA, it's like you get the manager at a press conference, you get one or two players, and in a separate area, what they call the mixed zone. I'm not allowed to be at both, but that's it. You get scraps, and there's no one in the press box announcing goal scored by Lionel Messi. There's no one that they don't give you official stats. For a lot of the official stats, if I want to see how many shots Messi had in the match last night, I have to go to a third-party website that keeps all that stuff. And so, but it's right material, especially at this international event, the kind of the geopolitics that kind of undergirds all of these matches too. It's all very fascinating stuff, and each team has a very unique journey. They all have heartbreak. They all are trying to accomplish something, to prove something. So it feels like you're just on your own though. It's hard to find. There are some great local volunteers and great people who work for Gillette Stadium who are working in the press box and doing a tremendous job. But as far as getting FIFA people to comment about whatever or to tell you what's going on, it's it's talking into the wind. I have no idea who these people are.
Well, why don't they provide data? Because that just generates more interest, right? I mean, that's why the NFL does it, right? Because then every fan is waiting for that stat or analysis.
Yeah, and the individual stats, so when in Tuesday's match, England and Ghana, boy, it sure looked like they shut down Harry Kane, their star player. And it's nice to have, a stat that could back that up. And thankfully, a third-party website, I was able to compare his first two matches and find that in Croatia, he had 35 touches, and against Ghana, he only had 19 touches. So you could see how they, cut it in half and really kind of overwhelmed and swarmed him. And, maybe if I were more of a veteran covering soccer, I'd know where to find some things, but it's not obvious. Whereas I know I can just go to NBA.com or NFL.com and find a lot of resources that I need as a journalist.
So one of the reasons why Bob Kraft wanted to bring the World Cup back to Boston, I think we last hosted in 1994, is to generate more excitement about professional soccer in the U.S. And a lot of us forget that Kraft also owns the New England Revolution. So is Kraft's plan working? I mean, do you think Americans will, want to watch soccer?
I think the soccer culture is definitely building in America. And, the MLS was formed in the wake of the 94 World Cup. I mean, soccer.
I didn't know that. It's fairly young then.
Yeah. The MLS was formed in 95 or 96. And Kraft was one of the original owners, and the Revs, one of the original teams. And so soccer was really a curiosity when the World Cup came in 94. And after that, I mean, interest has been slow, but interest did take off. They created a league. They've been able to support it, and now it's healthy enough. It's probably the fifth league still, but they have certain teams do very well. They have pockets of in the Northwest, the Seattle, Portland, Vancouver teams do the team in Atlanta draws very well. They have a very devoted fan base, arguably more so than the other teams in Atlanta. And honestly, I do think Boston has a good soccer culture, kind of waiting, kind of lying there underneath the surface a little bit. And it's there now, but the Revs being in Foxborough is tough. That's a tough sell. It's far away. It's not a good environment. It's, 15,000 fans and it's 70,000. So it's cavernous. But now
they're getting their own stadium.
That's what I'm saying. It with a soccer only stadium in, relative city limits, I think that could take off. I think you could see a time where the Revs are regularly drawing 20,000 fans.
And then you've got the women's soccer team.
Women's soccer is growing as well. And I think just soccer culture, the MLS is still not huge, but people watch EPL on Saturday and Sunday mornings here.
What's that?
English Premier League.
Oh, I see. That's right. Okay.
All the kids at my
Yeah.
at my kids' elementary school have
I see.
Messi and Lamine Yamal jerseys,
Yeah.
and they know Man United and they follow European club soccer.
Yeah.
So maybe MLS isn't big, but soccer is big. And so I just think this World Cup will lead to a similar boost just in interest in the sport. And then the MLS teams that actually invest in like a good little, home base and a good little product, I think will continue to thrive. And the Revs, assuming they get this stadium, are I think have the potential to be one of those teams.
Because it seems like a ton of kids play soccer, right? I mean, from a very young age. So you'd think that, especially in Massachusetts, we would be prime. Right, prime. The pump has been prime for soccer.
Surely they play soccer, but I'm telling you, on the playground, you don't see NBA jerseys on kids. You don't. You see some football. You see soccer jerseys on all these kids. Mbappe and Messi and Ronaldo. Harry Kane and now Erling Haaland is the new star of this. The soccer jerseys are everywhere, and the kids now, the next generation, they love soccer. And they love the superstar aspect of it. So it's similar to the NBA in that way. It's a star-driven kind of sport. And so there's a lot of interest there. It's definitely a growing sport, and it is taking off in this country.
But why do you think it hasn't so far? I mean, my theory is that Americans are spoiled by the other leagues, the NBA, the NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball. I was curious. I mean, do the Europeans, do they have multiple major professional leagues like we do, or is it really just soccer for them?
So, the Europeans are getting pretty good at basketball now too. I mean, Victor Wembanyama,
right,
is the face of the league, arguably, but soccer is the dominant sport there. But so you mentioned why isn't it more like NFL, Major League Baseball,
right.
NBA, and NHL?
Right.
All four of those leagues that you mentioned are all the best in the world, and that's the difference.
I see.
MLS is
not the best.
Is
in the
minor
world.
league.
Right.
There are not the Revolution's best player is not in the World Cup. Now there are MLS guys in the World Cup, but the best players in the world play in Europe, and I think that's why kids are drawn there. The superstars are the ones that play. Now Messi coming to Miami is big.
Right.
That's been huge for that club, and when Messi plays, he packs the house wherever he goes. So Messi coming over, but it's we've seen it before. Like Beckham came over late career, and Pele came over late career. So it helps. But I just think it's tough for MLS to overcome the other four sports just because it's not the best. However, I would bet you that EPL could overtake Major League Baseball with kids, could overtake, like hockey with a lot of parts of the country. Football is king, and NBA is I think, a very popular league as well. But, English soccer, French, Paris Saint-Germain, the Spanish leagues, Italian, kids are really into those, and I could see those becoming just as popular as our American sports.
I was thinking that, watching the World Cup, those teams, EPL league teams, they should be coming here and playing, right, in America. I mean, there should be more kind of transatlantic games if they really want to get professional soccer fans here. It doesn't help the MLS, right? But it would help. It would help soccer in general.
Well, some NFL. A lot of American sports owners do own.
That's right.
And we know of one here at the Boston Globe, of course. John Henry, who owns the Red Sox, the Globe, and Liverpool. So Stan Kroenke, who owns the Rams, he owns Arsenal. So he just had a good month. They won the Champions League. There's a bunch. I can't think off the top of my head, but
so there are friendlies.
So they host friendlies over here,
right.
But the star players, they play.
They don't come.
They play 25 minutes.
I see. It's not the same.
It's a friendly, so it's not worth the injury risk.
Yeah.
What they should. However, the NFL is playing these regular season games over there, and you do wonder if the European squads would consider playing, more significant matches over here. I just know that the commercialization of soccer is a big sore subject in Europe, and they take it much more seriously. These hydration breaks.
Oh yeah.
They get the fans boo them, and the fans hate them, and it's a front to soccer.
It was only made for American TV viewers.
Well, it's made to sell commercials.
Right.
No,
to make it more like the Super Bowl,
no
right?
question.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the world hates these hydration breaks, and I look at it, I say, yeah, welcome to American sport. This is like one of the least offensive commercializations I've seen in a while. You know, like at least they don't have the kickoff sponsored by Arby's or whatever
or Doritos.
Yeah. Yeah, you do want they do try to spread goodwill by playing over here, but it's never quite the same because the star players don't play.
So going into this World Cup, everyone hated FIFA. They probably still hate FIFA. It's kind of corrupt, tone deaf, money hungry. So do you think kind of the feel good nature of these games so far? I mean, do you think it's changed the perception of FIFA?
Yes, I do think that. Well, I'll tell you this, Shirley, that I think before the game started, there was a lot of focus on all the demands that FIFA was making, and there were a lot. You have to rip up your artificial turf and plant grass and install drainage and
rename your stadiums
and cover up all your logos and place a piece of tape over 64,000 seats at Gillette Stadium. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot. And you can't have concerts, the opportunity cost. You can't have other events there.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, it's an exclusive use. So
it's a long tournament, like 39 days, right?
It's so a lot of stadiums are just not doing summer concerts. The Patriots are, or the Crafts just pushed theirs back into the fall a little bit. So it's a lot. And I wrote an article. I went to an NFL owners meeting where it's a lot of crossover. And I talked to one NFL official who said, yeah, there were more than a few teams and cities that were not so upset to lose the bid. Just the demands were great, and it's like, all right, not worth it. Where I think there's now FOMO from the city aspect, from the we could have brought a lot of good cheer and created a lot of goodwill in a place like Chicago or DC or Minneapolis. Just to name a few of the places that are sitting out: Nashville, Charlotte. Phoenix. So, I do know the demands of the World Cup are a lot, and FIFA keeps not all the revenue, but a good chunk of it. And so I do think that sentiment was accurate, that there were a lot of teams that were and cities that were just like, this isn't worth the headache. And even with like the watch parties and getting the permit, I mean, just from a civic aspect, it was a headache. But now that we've seen all the good cheer and all the goodwill and how fun it's been and all the money it's bringing to some of these communities, I do think some of the cities are starting to regret not having it.
So what do you think the legacy of hosting the World Cup is in Boston?
No Scotland, no party. That's the legacy. I mean, I have literally not stopped chanting that in my head for the last week. I don't know. I think, not to sound hokey, but I think this tournament has opened eyes to people who don't really follow soccer about how kind of great this tournament is. And seeing Scots and Haitians together, like cheering on their team. And I haven't seen much ugliness, in the stands or in the parking lots. I haven't seen reports of that. I'm sure there have been some fights or whatever, but it's been good, clean fun. And you see these cultures, stadium full of Ghanaian soccer fans, like pretty cool, and Iraqi soccer fans and the Norwegians doing their row. Just the cultural event of this, it's really unique and fascinating, and it was an interesting mirror turned on us when these Europeans came and were awed by our gas stations and our Costco's
Walmarts.
And I hope they
ranch
tried
dressing, right?
They
that's
ran out of
start.
They tapped our ranch dressing supply. So it's just so endearing to see people react to our country like that, and that to me is the lasting legacy, that they came and showed us what a great country we have.
Ben Volin is the Globe's senior NFL writer who's been moonlighting as our soccer writer covering the World Cup. Ben, have fun at the next game.
Thanks so much for having me, Shirley.
Say More is a production of the Boston Globe. Today's episode was produced by Anna Kusmer. Our editor is Jim Dow. Our engineer is Uzair Ahmed. If you like the show, please follow us and leave a review. You can email us at saymore@globe.com. I'm Shirley Leung. Thanks for listening.